But do you think it shouldn't be as
users are now allowed to, for example, refer to women as household objects?
It's an interesting conversation.
On these social media places to call me a
Not even say the word.
Well, let's be.
I get desperate on social media.
Absolute chaos has. Like, she said the N-word. She said it, y'all. Like, bro, guys.
Online misinformation and hate speech continue to plague social media. Meta and Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg says he's following the footsteps of ex-owner Elon Musk by getting rid of third-party fact-checking on the site. Now, here's what he said yesterday.
You know, she has such a hard time reading that screen. We notice she does. Because, my gosh, she goes through a lot just to get through that monologue. And it's weird to me because I would imagine her context should be way better than mine. So why did she go through all this? All right, let's go ahead and get into the clip, y'all.
We've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. We're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes, similar to X. We're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse.
Before I even get into what the hens are going to say about this, let me just say something real quick, because Mark just said it seems like the country's reached a point where we want to get into the first, freedom of speech or the First Amendment again, something along the lines of that. What do you mean again? So wait a minute. Is it because Trump was elected? Now the Constitution matters? I don't care who the president is. I don't care if it is the most radical leftist president I've ever seen in my life. The Constitution is the Constitution. This doesn't make anything better. Like, okay, well, now it looks like we want to go back to the amendments again. That doesn't even make sense.
Used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high severity violations. And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action.
Oh boy.
Just so you know, before they go again, all right, you know what, I'll leave my part. They're going to mess up the whole thing. They could have had a real conversation about it, but they're going to take it far. Sunny's going to get chaotic again. Y'all already know what it is. But anyway, we're back with the ladies of the View. So let's just, without further ado, let them take it away. Real quick, guys, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to every eye that lands on these videos.
I'm just curious because human rights activists warn that this is a major step back that'll have misinformation, conspiracy theories, and bigotry running wild on the site. My question is, when did fact-checking become a bad thing?
Since Donald Trump became president.
Yes.
Absolutely. You're right. Absolutely. I have said from the beginning that the worst thing that he has done is cause this misinformation and lying going on.
Alternative facts.
This alternative facts that Kellyanne Conway, she said alternative facts. This guy Zuckerberg, I saw the movie, wasn't it Social Network?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where he says basically, I'm creating Facebook so people have a community, so that people can talk to each other. All of a sudden, it's become this big thing and a big lying machine that's going on. And the wokeness is what at the bottom of this.
Yeah, I just want to say, I'm sorry. If being woke is a bad thing, that means that the fact that I care about you, regardless of what you say or who you are, I want to make sure your family is as well off as mine is. That's too woke. It's too woke for me to say to you, hey, listen, if you don't want your kids reading this, maybe the best thing to do is let's go to the library together and I'll tell the librarian what I don't mind my kids reading, and then you can tell the librarian what you don't want your kids to read. That's too woke.
Well, the new rules on Meta, Facebook.
That is probably the most delusional statement. They really should have actually took a break and checked on Whoopi Goldberg to make sure she didn't have a UTI or something. Because, y'all tell me in the comments, did that make any sense to you? I still can't even parse out what she just said to even have an actual critique of the point that she was making because I don't understand the point. Maybe it's me. I don't know.
Facebook, they're imperfect. I will say this. I think it's a balance between content moderation, free speech, and fact checking. And what I think Facebook has gotten wrong for some time is they've had third-party fact checkers, but then Facebook Meta would ultimately make a decision on can this content be on. Oftentimes fact checkers can't, or these staffers at Facebook can have biases. I actually think, listen, X has become a hellhole for a lot of reasons, but I think that community notes actually work. You have to cite your source.
Let me interrupt you. What does free speech have to do with fact checking?
Because it's imperfect. It's not as simple as the sky is blue, the grass is green. We know the facts on that. Sometimes it comes into opinions or viewpoints. This is still a town square. I tend to be a free speech absolutist as long as it's not harming someone else.
We know the difference between an opinion and a fact. We do it every day.
A lot of this can be
They go getting chaotic, they get mad, and believe me, she is keeping it at bare minimum of pushback. Like, this is a joke. Like, Alyssa's not even the right winger that should ever be on the show. Because if you're going to have one right winger, and let's say there was, because right now it's 3 of them coming at her, but a lot of times there's 4. You need to be ready. You need to have a lot of, strength, and none of this nuance stuff, okay? I'm a speech absolutist, full stop. That's it. Now, if you want to commit a crime, that's different. But people get hurt all the time. Free speech absolutist. When I say people get hurt, like feelings. Like, that's what she should. It's too subjective about the feelings. If you want to plan things online, that's on you. Now that's not about speech. That's about you playing yourself, right? But she's nuancing everything just so she can still be accepted. And they run over her all the time, and they're still doing it.
Points where somebody could say, well, this is my viewpoint on it, and they were moderating things around language you used around certain issues. But to the point I was saying, community notes actually work. They have to be cited to sources.
The fact that we don't know what a fact is.
Really?
I reject it outright.
No
there
one's
is a difference
suggesting that,
between opinion and fact. And there is, journalists, like people that are, work for the New York Times, they know how to fact check. Journalism students are taught. You fact check 3 different sources.
Journalists have gotten things wrong, though.
So this notion, this notion that, the reason that they're doing this is because.
I'm trying to be rude and keep talking over her, but she stops for them. That's why Alyssa crazy. I would be like, girl, you stay on down. I couldn't be on the show.
Is they can't fact check it.
But free speech gives you a right to be wrong. I have a right to post something that's inaccurate. I have a right to say the grass is blue.
Facts are different.
That shouldn't be taken down simply because it's fact.
Disinformation is different. And so I think what you're finding is this company is also getting rid of content restrictions on topics like gender identity and immigration. Calling women, by the way, household objects is now permitted on Facebook.
But do you think it shouldn't be as well?
Users are now allowed to, for example, refer to women as household objects.
It's an interesting conversation.
Are you serious? So I found it for us, guys, okay? So hold on. Because I was getting into that, right? Okay, hold on.
Information, there's a problem with that. Meta's new hate speech guidelines permit users to call people in the LGBTQ plus community mentally ill. That is harmful. That is harmful. And the last thing I'll say is, let's just break it down to bare bones. This is about President-elect Trump going back to the White House. Mark Zuckerberg and Meta dined with Trump at Mar-a-Lago in November. Meta just donated $1 million to support his inauguration. Zuckerberg also elevated Joel Kaplan, the highest-ranking Meta executive closest to the Republican Party, to the company's most senior policy role. And on Monday, Zuckerberg said Dana White, the head of the Ultimate Fighting Championship and an ally of Trump's, would join Meta's board. This is about the fact that our many corporations, and especially these oligarchs that own these social media companies, are bowing down to Trump so that they can make money off of the American people.
Okay, if we can all have a bit of a conversation here. So this is actually more complex than we're making it, but on the free speech of it, and I actually agreed with Mark Zuckerberg. Of course, there's pressure because Trump's coming into office, but I do think that there's a cultural and societal desire to be able to talk about things openly. And actually, liberals used to be the ones who were super pro free speech. The famous saying goes, "I disagree with what you're."
She's so rude. She's so rude. Do y'all see how rude she is? Like, she's not looking at her when she talks.
Of course, there's pressure because Trump's coming into office, but I do think that there's a cultural and societal desire to be able to talk about things openly. And actually, liberals used to be the ones who were super pro free speech. The famous saying goes, "I disagree with what you're saying, but I'll defend to the death your right to say."
Yes, but I will not defend to the death your right to call me. Sometimes it happens like this. Be nice. She didn't talk for 20 minutes.
And I always like to hear what you say.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm trying to make the point that hate speech, something that incites violence, is not legally ever protected under the First Amendment. My ability to say a housewife is a household object, I can say that. It can offend you. I don't agree with it, but you absolutely, under the First Amendment, have a right to say it. And the fact that we're policing speech because it makes people uncomfortable or they don't like it or it offends them, I don't think it's how we should engage it.
If somebody decides, as they do often on these social media places, to call me a
Don't even say the word.
Well, let's be.
I get death threats on social media.
Absolute chaos has. Like, she said the N-word. She said it, y'all. Like, bro, guys, relax. Oh my God. Like, I'm so mad we couldn't, like, so y'all just, what is it? It's not that deep, bro.
If we're going to have this conversation, then let's have it.
All right, go ahead.
Because if we're going to do that, we have to do that. Okay. So there are certain things where we all agree, boy, you shouldn't be saying that. That is not curbing your free speech. It's asking you to, not you, asking one to respect the fact that people don't want to hear that word when it has to do with them or Native Americans or women.
There's also
or
an
any
element of
these
choice
reasons,
that comes
under the hate guidelines.
But by the way, there is an element of choice that comes into this. I would never subscribe to somebody who would use that language or who would incite.
No, but you're on a site that says now, maybe it's okay to say
but it wasn't before.
No, you guys were focusing on hate speech, but some of the beginning things they did were Facebook removed all content that said COVID was a man-made disease.
Okay, all right. So, dig this, right? So now I'm not going to get into all that, right? So, but what we just saw was, let me just see if there's some more. This might have to be like a I don't know, guys. This is a.
When you are making fun of their group in a nasty way.
Right.
Now, the people who are doing this are not from minority groups. They're from majority groups. And so
This is not me saying that every person at this table gets hate speech directed at them every day. No one is.
All right, I guess no one gets to finish a sentence here anymore. Okay.
No, I think the point Alyssa's making here is she is a free
Well,
speech.
don't speak for her. She speaks very well for herself.
No, but and I'm not doing
We
that.
all act like we're for free speech when it's the things we like. When somebody wants to defend the free speech of people we disagree with,
that is not true. I don't want you calling me. I don't want people to call.
Comedy needs to be able to push limits.
Listen, comedy does push limits, but be smarter in your comedy. You don't need to offend me to be funny. I don't need to offend you to be funny. And so there
tends to be offensive and push
that's actually not necessarily true. The best comedy doesn't always tend to be offensive. It just doesn't.
Okay, the First Amendment doesn't apply to private companies, which is why I'm frustrated Mark Zuckerberg did this. But there are countries in Europe who have modified the way they're allowed to talk about people. I actually support some elimination.
Yeah, but we're not a country in Europe, sis. Okay, so anyway, they finally got themselves together after this. Like, I don't even care. We're not a country in Europe, honey. We are America. I can be as racist as I want to be. I can be as misogynistic as I want to be. I can be as anti-Semitic as I want to be. Yes. Okay? Now, I don't want to be those things. Of course not. Right? I'm a child of God. This is a Christian channel, for crying out loud. Okay? All right? So I'm not those things. But I'm a realist. And that First Amendment gives us the right to be as indignant. I don't know why this girl bringing up Europe and everything. But that whole panel, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Alyssa better get it together because she tried. She did try. They want to police you so bad. Like, you're going to see bad words. So what? It is what it is. Don't sleep on Meta though. Well, like, don't sleep on Mark thinking that he's doing the right thing. All of a sudden, this is just all part of the design. That's all it is. It's part of the bigger design. That's it. You know, he's still going to curb things. There's certain things. Remember, he said for high intensity like information about it. Okay, so if I decide to talk about 9/11, what really happened with 9/11, that's not going to make it on YouTube, Facebook. Matter of fact, they probably get rid of my channel. So it's still. I don't go on Facebook. I was shadow banned a long time ago. There's still censorship. He's not worried about free speech. He's just allowing you to say things about LGBT and trans. But the country is in so much of a turmoil right now that a lot of people don't see it. I'm not going to doom and gloom. We're getting, we got a lot going on. But the real problems that we have going on, we won't be able to talk about them. So this isn't Mark being any better. But these women are crazy. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.